welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razek at CMtrading. Today is August 8th, 2019, and today is Thursday morning. So looking at the economic events today, nothing scheduled for today, but looking at the markets, a little bit of a rotation in the markets. We're looking at the South African rand and the Canadian dollar, both breaking resistance, but making a correction right afterwards. We're going to take a look at that. We did mention this yesterday as well. Now, looking at the Dow Jones, which has really been the major focus of the markets, it rallies back over 26,000. Okay, it sold off to 25,300-ish level, but this time there's no but. Okay, it does look like it's an alley-oop. It does look like it's a bull flag. We'll get into that in just a moment. Now, looking at the commodities, gold hits 1,500 yesterday. That wasn't even a question. We did mention that yesterday. And oil bounces off of minor support. Now, we're going to take a look at that as well. And looking at the stocks, what has rallied the market are faithful Microsoft. Okay, it rallies the market back. Okay, some of the other FANG stocks followed through, but it's really Microsoft that has really recovered the market. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, really trading sideways, finding that minor trading range, and we'll take a look at that as well. So let's take a look at what we can expect from today's trading.
This conference will now be recorded.
So we're taking a look here at the USD South African Rand, and we saw that we had this resistance at 14.95, and we broke through it with some momentum, and finally capitulating at 15.20-ish level, and then making a correction on the downside. Now, we could look at this as one of two things, okay? Either it did break resistance, okay? That's one option where we do see that it did break some resistance. What I don't like about this is that it didn't close up higher. Okay, 1514, 1550-ish level. It didn't close up in a green bar. Okay, it retraced a little bit. So that bothers me a little bit. Now, it did retrace. Okay, so it technically should hold at 1495 as the support because that was previous resistance. Okay, if it doesn't, then it just means that we're still trading in a range, okay, between this 15-ish level and 1382 on the downside, okay, which is still hard to see. So I'd like to see some sort of, confirmation before I jump into a trade here, okay. I might look to actually trade it kind of small, even trading, a very small amount just to see that it's, coming in my favor. And every time there's a bounce in the market, it doesn't bounce, the particular range doesn't bounce. So with that said, that's what I would look here in the Rand. Now, the same story is the Canadian dollar, okay. We hit that resistance level at 133.05, but couldn't push higher and couldn't break that higher. And as you can see, it actually broke that subsequent support. Okay, 133 is subsequent support if it breaks resistance, and it did not hold that. Okay, so one against the other, the Rand weaker versus the dollar than the Canadian dollar versus the dollar, but still so, I'd like to see this actually, either correct itself on the downside, okay, or make that breakthrough for the Rand. Okay, so I'd like to see those two options. Now, looking at gold, we're first looking at a monthly chart. Let's look at a weekly chart just to give you a perspective here. If we went from 1445, this thing flew, okay, basically just flew from 1445 up to 1500-ish level. It did retrace a little bit. There is a little bit of a resistance here, okay, but not much, okay. There's nothing really here until you hit 1554, technically speaking. Okay, there's previous support level, subsequent, it's a minor support level, minor resistance level at 1500 right here, okay? I wouldn't call that a resistance level. I'd call 1554 more resistance level than we are right now. Now, it is a round number, okay? And generally, the market likes to hit certain numbers just psychologically, okay? So it might hit this number and then retrace. And this is really all dependent on the Dow, okay? On how the Dow will actually trade today. Okay, because if you're taking money out of the Dow, you're putting into gold. If you're taking money out of gold, you're putting in the Dow, and that's just the nature of the business. Okay, so with that said, I'd like to keep an eye on the Dow to see if it does rally today. Then I would expect gold to actually retrace a little bit, maybe back to the 1450-ish level. Okay, as that weans off. Now, this is all news driven, okay? It's all dependent on, China versus the US with its trade relations obviously making major havoc on the market. So with that said, I'd also pay attention to the news. Now, looking at oil, this is what I'm talking about. We retraced below our resistance level or support level, this Fibonacci at 54-ish level, and we retraced back to the 52.72 and we bounced off of it. Okay, you can see that minor red support level here, and this is what I'm talking about. So it may just bounce off of this and trade between 54 and 52 until it found some new actual resistance and support or trading range for the price of oil. Now this is the Dow Jones, and this is really, it was a beauty yesterday, okay, really selling off at this from 26.026-ish level. We hit this resistance area several times and finally selling off throughout the market yesterday down to 25,300-ish level right here, okay, and then finally capitulating there and making a V formation. Now, these type of formations kind of show you that there's more buyers than sellers, okay? So the fact that it rallied back to this 26, let's say 26.ish level, okay, which it did have that resistance level yesterday a couple of times, we're right there, okay? So if that breaks above it, then I would expect us to even go to the 26,300, 26,400-ish level in the next alley-oop, okay? So really, the markets are strong. As long as Apple's still going, as long as Microsoft still isn't going, I would expect the market to continue going up higher. Okay, looking at 4-hour chart, there we go. Okay, next resistance level is 26,600-ish level. So we do have some way to go until we get there. So keep that in mind. Now looking at Microsoft, okay, this was the one, this was the one that alley-oop. This was the first one that went up. Okay, if we look at a 1-hour chart, you can see that it didn't fully go down. It never became red. It came back really quickly, showed you that bull flag right here, okay, and then took it up higher. Now we're trading above our 30-day moving average and our 14-day moving average as we close up that gap, the second gap. I'd like to see this get into the 137 by the end of the week for this to really rally, okay, and I think that we can do that. Now looking at some of the other stocks, Apple also bounced, but not as hard as you can see. Microsoft bounced, but not as hard, okay? So it's really Microsoft that's carrying the market, okay? So keep that in mind, and that should be your focus to see vis-a-vis what the market is doing. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.